So here are 20 lessons I've learned in my 20 years in real estate. Real estate is a highly emotional transaction, and you almost want to detach yourself from a property and not fall overly in love with the property. And the same thing if you're a seller and you're selling your home, you don't want to fall in love with the buyer that's purchasing your property because things can go wrong at any minute. Same thing if you're a buyer. If you're going in to look at homes, do not fall in love with the home and this is not your house yet. It becomes your house once you go to settlement, sign your documents, and get the keys. The advice I have is to stay emotionally unattached. I know a lot of times you see that house and it's like, oh my God, this is my house, and you get excited, you tell everybody about it. I don't recommend it. I recommend going and looking at properties, seeing them, putting in an offer, and if the offer gets accepted, great. If you get the settlement, great. Just keep your emotions at bay from contract to close. I also see a lot of emotions arise at different parts of the process where agents get upset or buyers get upset or sellers get upset. Just remain calm and keep your emotions in check throughout the real estate process. The next thing is be flexible. Just know that you won't be able to find the best house in the best neighborhood at the best price. You want to give and take. Okay, maybe it is not in the best neighborhood, but it has the size that you want. Or maybe it's in the best neighborhood, but you have to get a 2-bedroom versus a bigger house. Or maybe you want to be closer to public transportation, so you're gonna get less space or you're gonna have to pay more. Just know that whatever you want, you have to be flexible and that you're not going to be able to get it all. Advice is that you're never too young to purchase real estate. I've been seeing a lot of people graduating, and a lot of people are getting a lot of gifts, and a lot of people are spending a lot of money on vacations and different things like that. And I would encourage you, if you're over the age of 18, to see if you can get pre-qualified for a loan. Maybe you can get a parent or another family member to co-sign for you, or maybe you've been on your job for a number of years and you have enough income for the property that you would be getting that you could go ahead and get qualified to purchase a home. So don't think that you're too young. If you have that money and you have your money for your down payment, definitely consider if you're able to start purchasing a property of your own versus renting. Another thing to consider in real estate is that time is of the essence. I know sometimes we have certain things called CP time or island time, but in a real estate transaction, time is time. If you say you're going to settlement in 30 days, you need to be going to settlement in 30 days. If you said that you need 7 days to get your home inspection done, then you know that within that 7 days, you need to schedule that appointment and go and do your home inspection. Your contract says that you will be giving your lender their documents within 48 hours, then you need to give your lender the documents in 48 hours. It doesn't matter if it's vacation, it doesn't matter if it's the weekend. Real estate consider all of the calendar days. So that's definitely something that you want to consider, that time is of the essence. You also want to work with professionals that have that same kind of urgency as well. I see a lot of people work with friends that are loan officers, and they take real estate to be a complete joke. They think that they can continue to get extensions, and that can jeopardize your earnest money deposit. So just remember that time is of the essence when you're in a real estate transaction. The next thing I would say is only get people involved that can actually help you with your real estate transaction. A lot of times I'll see people bring along friends or maybe even parents who purchased homes 20 years ago or 10 years ago. If I was bringing someone along, they could serve as kind of like a sounding board. But if they have not purchased a home recently, they should not really be giving you advice about the transaction. You need to, you can do your own research. You can speak with people who are qualified to advise you. But sometimes people will get advice from family members or from friends who might not be well-meaning and also who might not really be attuned to the current market. So you want to make sure that you're getting advice from somebody who is actively participated in the market in like 60, 90 days, or even within a year. You want to get advice from those type of people. Another thing that you want to consider is buy the house that you can afford. Your mortgage payment is your principal, your interest, your taxes, your insurance. Also, you know that you might like to go, shopping. You might want to take care of yourself. You might want to go on vacations. All of those variables are things that you have to consider. So buy the house that you know that you can afford. You don't want to get evicted and you don't want to have to move out of the house. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Buy the house that you know that you can comfortably pay for every month. The other advice I would give is get pre-qualified or get qualified for a house based on the amount that you are comfortable with paying. So if you know that you can only pay $1,500 a month for your housing needs, then you want to go backwards. You want to tell your lender, hey, I can only pay $1,500 a month. what type of property can I get with this? That might mean that you have to put like a higher down payment down. That might mean you might need to get a longer type of, a longer term loan, but that's something that you want to consider. How much money are you going to be comfortable with paying every month? The other advice I would give is keep an ear on the street. You never know who's selling a home. I've seen people get a lot of great deals from family members, from friends, from neighbors. They might, have been driving around and they see like a property that's not really in use and they're able to get a good deal. So be open. You never know where your next real estate deal is going to come from. The next advice I will give is if you are already a homeowner, invest in your home. Take the time to keep your home refreshed. Painting, power washing, regular cleanings. Just make sure that you're actually protecting your investment so that when it's time to sell, you're not scrambling, trying to, do like a complete renovation when you can just take your time every week and do a little bit to improve your house. The other advice I have to give is just be careful who you rent to. Sometimes you'll get people who will tell you a sad story about, their past and why they have not been paying rent to their past landlord, and you will feel sorry for them. Or somebody has you notice that when you first met the person, they were very demanding, but yet and still you still went ahead and rented your house out to them. You just want to really consider that when you are making a decision to who you choose to rent, because putting the wrong tenant in your house could be the reason why you lose your home. The other advice I want to give is that everything is going to work itself out. I know sometimes in real estate, it just seems like if you don't get this house, it's the end of the world. Guess what? There's always another property to get. It might not be that one, but it could be possibly something better. So everything is going to work itself out. Don't stress yourself out. It's only a transaction. I did say that it is a time-sensitive transaction, but at the same time, if it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out. Cut your losses and try again when you're in a better situation. Another advice I would give is buy the house. If you happen to come across a property that's a really great deal, let's say you are at the beach or you're visiting a relative and you see a property that it seems like it makes a lot of sense to you, look into it and consider buying it. A lot of times we talk ourselves out of things like, who am I to buy a beach house, or who am I to buy a house in another state? Buy the house. Sometimes it just makes sense to make that investment. Sometimes it's just better for the deal to just fall apart. I know a lot of people that's like living in regret because they purchased a property. You were going through, you received a lot of signs while you were under contract that this property was not probably going to be the best for you. Maybe you did a home inspection and it was horrible. Or maybe you saw your initial monthly payment and you just was like, there's no way I can do this. Sometimes it's just good to just bow out and just get out of a contract. The other thing I want to say is that live below your means, because when you buy the house, the next thing is to buy furniture. The next thing that you want to do is maybe to install solar panel on the house, or maybe you want to you just do a complete renovation. And the question you want to ask yourself is, can you really afford it? Nobody really knows what's going on in your pockets but you. So you want to just make sure that you prepare and budget for things that could come up, because when you have this investment now, you no longer have a landlord. So if something breaks, if you don't have a home warranty, you have to take care of it. You just want to consider that and live below your means. The other advice that I would give is that you always want to have some extra money stashed away sometimes, because things are always going to happen in real estate. Something's going to break. There might be like an unexpected bill that you receive for taxes, or just for something that you weren't expecting. Maybe they decided to raise the homeowners association fee. Maybe they decided to raise your condo fee. You just never know. So always kind of have like your little housing stash. And that housing stash could be great too, because if you were to see a property that you really, really were interested in, you can kind of be ready to make an offer on that property. The other advice is that sometimes the first house you see is the right house, and you know what that right house is. It's that house that you either can take your shoes off and walk through the house, or maybe it needs a lot of work, but you can totally visualize yourself painting or changing the fixtures, or you could totally see all your stuff in the space. Sometimes that first house is the right house, and so you want to consider making an offer. The next advice I want to give is sometimes you have to move very quickly, especially in our area. We are currently in a seller's market, and sometimes you have to go and see the house and be ready to write your offer immediately. Another advice I have is just to keep abreast of everything that's happening in the real estate market. Real estate is changing rapidly every day. So read different news articles, go online, listen to different YouTube videos, and just stay abreast as far as what is happening in the market. So you want to know what the interest rates are. You want to know what products are available for you. You want to know what's happening right now. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? It's great to kind of know these things ahead of time. The next advice I would give if you were buying or if you were selling a property is to read every document. Reading is fundamental and you don't want to miss anything. I know a lot of times the contracts are pretty detailed, but if you don't know something, ask a question. Skim through it, write everything down, and ask your real estate professional, ask your attorney, ask your lender, ask questions, but read every document so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Another thing I find handy is just having a checklist in hand. I am a big checklist person, and I have one from contract to close. I have one of the things that I need to put a house on the market. And for you who are buying or selling a house, it's really great to kind of know all of the different steps in a real estate transaction. Things could fall apart at any minute, and it could be because you did not order your resale package in time, or you forgot to send an addendum. The buyer or seller were not aware of certain things. So always make sure that you have different checklists so you know the things that you're supposed to be doing throughout the process. Also, stop waiting for the perfect time to buy. I see a lot of people say, I'm going to wait until I get married. I'm going to wait in a couple of years when I get a promotion. I'm going to wait. They have all these different reasons why they're going to wait to buy a house or they're going to wait to sell a house. And I want to say it's never a perfect time. Get in the market, participate in the market. If you have the funds available, go forward and buying your home. If you need to sell your home and move on to the next one, do it. So those are just some tips that I've learned in my 20 years of real estate. Was there one of them that resonated with you? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.